Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is Friday, January 7th, 2021. That's all I got.
Yeah.
No.
The first day of being
quip.
an AB-free team.
Oh, my gosh. This idiot.
Oh my God.
What an idiot.
He's so dumb.
Dumb. Why did we put him on our team, Molly? Can you explain that? Oh, I know, because he can catch the damn ball.
Yeah. I mean, we know why.
Well, according to him, that's the only reason why he's friends with Tom Brady, or friends that Tom Brady is friends with him, is because he's a good football player.
Yeah.
You're like, did you not realize that about life?
Well, I mean, in his defense of that statement, AB has no other redeeming qualities. So,
unless you want a bag of dildos thrown at you.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're into that, man, AB's your dude. So much has happened with this guy. And, okay, for those of you who only listen to this podcast and nothing else in the world, Antonio Brown had a meltdown on live broadcast Sunday against the Jets. Walked off the field with his clothes off. It looked to me like he was getting ready to take his pants off, too.
I wish he would have.
He was getting ready to. If you go back and look, he grabs his pants.
He thought about it.
Yeah, thought about it. And he was like, I'll just do jumping jacks.
That's too crazy for AB. We found a line he won't cross, guys.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the reason, but. And then ever since then, it's just been a complete train wreck. I mean, the guy, he's not very good at PR or damage control. That's for dang sure.
He doesn't know when to shut the fuck up.
Right. And man.
If it were any other team, I'd be laughing my ass off. But just that it's the Bucs, I'm just like, can he just stop, please?
Yeah.
Please, AB.
Well, you did not want him. You were so adamant to not get him on this team.
Yeah, I said it's not worth it. No matter. Oh, this was a quote. Just came to me. No matter how pretty she is, someone somewhere is sick of her shit. And I think that explains AB perfectly.
Yeah, it really does. But we got him on the team, and I thought he did great. I
kept his head down. He was fine for a long time.
I was weary, just like you, but you were very adamant. I mean, you did not want him on this team. But as soon as we signed him, it's how we work here.
Kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, we don't talk crap about people on the team. We ain't going to say fire this person or they don't need to be on the team. But we are fans of the team.
But he also caused no problems.
Right.
There were no issues.
But what is it that started all this? Do you remember? What is the reason all this started?
Rick Stroud.
Yes. The vaccination card. The story by Rick Stroud. The bullying by Rick Stroud. Now, we all know, everybody knows in the world that Antonio Brown has got some kind of off-the-rocker mental going on. I mean, just since 2018, for the past 4 years, it's just been one thing after another with this dude. It's been getting into fights with truck drivers and movers, throwing bags of dildos at his baby's mama.
Throwing a bike at a guard shack, which I don't blame him. HOAs are just the worst. This is
true. Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Coupled with everything else, I think.
And so. Here we know the guy's got some serious issues, whether, they're anger issues or daddy issues or whatever. I don't know, but we know he's got issues, kind of some mental instability there, emotional immaturity or emotional unintelligence, whatever, however you want to phrase it. And, it's one of the things I just hate about the media is, they know this. So it's like blood in the water for them. It's like it's the first chance they get. Oh, let's see if we can get this guy to crack. And they did. It's exactly what happened. They go after him about the vaccine cards. And then, because it could have very easily have been a non-issue. Very easily. It could have been just like, you've got this employee, this disgruntled employee who is outright saying, I'm doing this because I'm mad the guy didn't pay me the money I think he owes me, which it wasn't even a lot of money. It was like 10 grand or something. And so he's like, I am mad at this guy and I want to get him in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the media is like, hey, come to us. We'll help you with that. We'll help you, poke this mentally deranged person with a stick. See if we can get him to act like an idiot. And it worked. It worked. But it's made Rick Stroud's career. I've seen him on everything. He's been on the Pat McAfee show. He's been on Rich Eisen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got national attention and probably a huge bonus.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the AB expert.
Yeah. I mean, and that's just sick. It's just sick, man. Who wants to live like that? I benefit off of somebody else's pain and suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, yeah. So that's where all this started. With Rick Stroud, and what has apparently happened with everything that's come out is that AB was upset with his teammates and the coaching staff and all that because they didn't support him through that suspension.
And he was mad at Tom Brady as well.
Yeah. And, he comes back and he needs the certain amount of catches and stuff to get his bonus and all this. And him and Gronk apparently got into it.
Well, he got mad about Gronk getting all the attention.
Getting all the targets.
The targets.
Yes.
Right.
And then Gronk screwed up. He was dropping passes and everything. So then Brady started, the Carolina game. I mean, Brady targeted AB like 17 times.
Yeah, like more than the rest of the team combined. We actually brought it up in the podcast.
Right. So you'd think AB would be happy about that, but apparently not. Apparently during the Jets game, he was not getting enough targets his way. He got 5 in the first half. They go into the locker room. AB throws a fit. Apparently guys had to hold him back. He's all up in like Gronk's face or the Tom Brady's face, somebody's face saying, oh, so I see Gronk's your boy now again, because at that point Gronk was getting most of the target. And so, there's this disruption in the locker room, and AB had said that he's upset that, his teammates didn't support him, through the suspension.
What were they supposed to do?
Well, apparently this guy needs a lot of coddling.
Yeah.
He's a very sensitive dude. He does literally have daddy issues, right? I mean, didn't he have?
Yes, actually, in fact, that was tweeted a little while ago. Apparently, his dad was a Arena Football League player, and apparently one of the best to ever play.
Low bar.
Yeah, but then he didn't really see his dad a lot growing up, and they apparently spent a few months together in the 90s when Antonio was 8 years old, and then after that they became estranged. So I don't know what happened.
Probably realizes this kid's got some problems.
Yeah, it comes off like, oh, his dad, just I don't know, his dad just disappeared after that. Maybe that was
so
foreshadowing the future.
So he's got this bonus, which is it's $1 million, right? I think it wasn't at $333,333.33.
Yeah, like per incentive.
There was 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right. So added them up, there was $1 million, and it's not that big of a deal. And the guy's made like $80 million in his career. What's another million? But I guess to him, and we've seen it throughout his breakdowns, he's got money issue problems. I mean, he's fighting with people over $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000, whatever.
But I don't know that it's because he doesn't have money. I think he's just
right. That's what I'm saying. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got mental issues with money.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he approaches Jason Light, with his agent, and they want this money to be guaranteed. Now, that's not how incentive contracts work to begin with.
I mean, that was the whole purpose of this contract.
Right.
And they came to the team Wednesday. So if you know our practice schedule, we play Sundays. They get Monday and Tuesday off. Wednesday, they do a walkthrough. They return to practice. Thursday, they practice. Friday, they practice. Saturday, I think they have a little practice, or they travel, depending. And then Sunday, they have the game. Well, his camp comes to the team on Wednesday before the Jets game. Was it Jets or Carolina?
Jets.
Before the Jets
Yeah,
game.
it was the Jets game. Mm-hmm.
So they come to the Bucs Wednesday and ask, hey, can you make all the incentives guaranteed? No. Why would we? Bucs were like, no, we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. And not only that, it was apparent he was going to get them.
Right. That's the thing. He even at the rate he was getting passes thrown to him at the Jets game in the first half, he was still going to make it.
He was absolutely.
I don't understand.
I mean, we were counting it down in the during the game. I mean, he was only 81 yards and like 9 targets, 8 targets. I mean, he was close. He was going to make it.
Right.
And so the Bucs said, no, we're not guaranteeing your incentives. And then, of course, he's held out of practice, or he holds himself out of practice.
Right. He didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Bruce Arians texted him and he said, hey, look, we're not resting anybody the next 2 weeks. We need you to play Sunday. If you can play, can you play? And it was like, AB was, it's funny. I keep getting AB and BA. I need to like say their names out.
I know.
Antonio Brown said, no, I'll let you know tomorrow, which is Saturday.
Yeah, he
so
said,
Saturday,
I'm probably ready to go, but I'll let you know. So
Saturday he goes out there and he's like, yeah, I'm good to play. So, they did the walkthroughs for Sundays. Well, Saturday night, they're in Jersey in a hotel room, and apparently Antonio Brown brings a prostitute into his hotel. He sneaks him in.
She's a prostitute. Let's hold on now.
What OnlyFans?
Perhaps a distinction without a difference, but let's not slander the lady in case, she's an OnlyFans model.
Who snuck into an NFL player's room and had sex with him.
Yeah, and apparently filmed a video.
Yeah.
While they're in there.
Yeah, didn't they make porn videos?
Yes.
Yes.
Apparently, what she says. She claims they do.
Yeah. Now, that's going to come out. I mean, TMZ will pay her millions.
Absolutely. And clearly she's looking for.
Oh, yeah. She was like immediately putting all this stuff out there. It had pictures of him sleeping in the bed and pictures of the placards showing where players are supposed to go in the hotel.
Yeah. And then she also sent screenshots of their text messages the night before where he goes, watch what I'm going to do on the field tomorrow, baby. So that goes like, oh, was that premeditation?
Right.
Like he already knew what.
Right.
I mean, that could mean anything. That could mean like, he went off on the field and had a great game. Or, it's open to interpretation.
I'll touch on that a little bit here.
Yeah. So then this OnlyFans model is the same one who made the 2020 toilet liquor challenge famous.
Yeah.
That was her.
Yeah, but was there something about the flu virus thing? Was it that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, she licked a toilet, an airplane toilet, right?
She also somehow was caught up in the David Portnoy stuff. She may or may not have been one of the accusers. I don't know. I saw him mention it on Twitter. I saw a tweet from him.
I didn't really
go that far in depth with her. But she got to AB, apparently, and got her little claws in him.
Yeah.
And
so he sneaks this, against club policy during this lockdown stuff.
And we know how important this stuff is to BA. Like, BA takes this very seriously.
Yes. Oh, my God. I mean, this stuff does not happen under Bruce Arians' leadership. Anywhere. Nowhere he's been has this stuff happened. He's great with personnel. I mentioned it in the last podcast. I'd recently, when he was coming here as a coach, I'd looked into his whole past and I was like, wow, one thing he's really good at is he just has no drama with his players. So anyhow, apparently to me, Antonio Brown was purposely just pissed and trying to cause trouble. I mean, you don't do that. You don't sneak, girl into the hotel, and Tom Brady was in that hotel. He's not in a separate hotel. He's in you don't know anything about this girl. You're bringing her into the, just insane. He's to me, it appears somebody who was acting out, looking to just
looking for a reason
to burn bridges.
Yeah.
And that's what he's done. So anyhow, he does all that. And then he goes out there on the field. He was fine. I watched game film. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. I watched game film. He wasn't limping, moving out. I watched his last play. He ran 30 yards down the field. 30 yards down the field was his last play. And they threw it to Mike Evans on the other side. They were both one-on-one. He was actually would have been a better target. He had a little bit more separation from his guy. But, and that might have pissed him off. He's like, why are you throwing it to Mike Evans? Well, throw it to me. I'm the one that needs the catches or whatever. I don't know. The guy's a real jerk off. So that's pretty much the timeline up to that point. So then we find out, he leaves the game. He puts out a bunch of stuff. He gets an Uber ride, videos that. It's just the whole thing has been documented.
It's been a train wreck.
Yeah.
The whole week. And it all would have gone away if he could have shut his mouth.
That's the problem is him. He is the problem.
His team has been,
everywhere
his
lawyer,
put out a statement. He put out his own statement, which someone else wrote for him, clearly. His team is trying to help him out, but he can't get out of his own way.
Right. That's the thing. He is causing all this trouble. But he did it at the Steelers. He did it at the Raiders. He did it in New England. He's just, he didn't really do anything in New England. He had a legal trouble.
He didn't have the opportunity.
Right.
Bill Belichick does not play that shit.
He don't play that game.
He don't play it.
And Arians doesn't either.
Normally,
but I think Brady's got a little bit of influence here.
Well, and I think Arians is more likely to give somebody the benefit of the doubt than Bill Belichick is.
Yeah, and he's also more likely to, people are saying that Tom Brady is controlling this team and everything. I can tell you there's no way. People are saying that, this is Tom Brady's offense and not Bruce Arians' offense anymore. No, it's not true at all. I've seen enough game film. I've watched enough. This is still Bruce Arians' offense. It's got some elements of Tom Brady in it, but and I think, Tom Brady respects Bruce Arians enough to realize that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. I am not a head coach. Tom Brady is not a head coach, just like he's not a wide receiver or a safety, and he's not going to be out there telling these guys what they need to be doing. He might give them advice and all that good stuff, but Tom Brady is not the head coach or the general manager of this team. As Antonio Brown said today, right? Was that today?
Yeah.
He was on a podcast.
Well, yeah, he went, it was yesterday. He went on a podcast and said basically Tom Brady's running this thing. He's basically the GM.
He said Tom Brady was in there negotiating his contract with his agent.
Apparently, yeah.
I can see Tom was probably in there giving him advice, but
there's
no way Tom had personnel hiring powers.
Right. But now on the way to burning bridges with the Buccaneers, now he's coming out and he's saying he's dragging Tom Brady. He's dragging Tom Brady's best friend and business partner,
Alex Guerrero.
Alex Guerrero. He released text from Christmas Eve, apparently. What a piece of crap you are to be pulling this shit on somebody on Christmas Eve. But he texted Alex Guerrero and apparently had given TB12, the company, $100,000 for some training, and they were holding it in retainer probably or whatever, and which they were smart to get their money up front, they knew the deal. So AB said to Alex Guerrero, hey, I want my money back. Y'all aren't doing anything. Alex Guerrero was extremely gracious and reasonable. Thanks for the opportunity to work with you. I understand you want to go in a different direction. Let me know where I need to send your money, your balance. And that
everybody
was
in the world has that bank account and routing number now.
Oh, what an idiot.
And so Antonio Brown screenshotted these things and posted them on the internet and didn't even bother to white out his bank account and routing number.
His own bank account information. Yeah. He tweeted it out. He, but he tweeted the text out, and it's the same thing that he did with BA, thinking it was making them look bad. But it didn't at all.
Right.
Like, I've never seen somebody so unsuccessful at dragging other people as Antonio Brown.
He seems to have a very distorted view of the world, the perception of the world. He did the same thing with Juju Smith-Schuster in Pittsburgh, it was so bizarre. I remember thinking that was a really cruel thing to do. He posted that, a letter that Juju had sent him when Juju was in college or high school.
Yeah.
And he was like, here's what you thought of me then, and I'm better than you now, or something like that.
Yeah, it was so weird. And you were like, that doesn't.
Yeah, it made Antonio Brown look really bad.
Looked terrible.
Yeah. And, he did the same thing with Gruden in Oakland. And then he comes here and he's doing the same thing. He put out stuff about Guerrero, which made Guerrero look great, if you ask me.
I know, like a stellar guy.
He put out the same stuff with Bruce Arians. And, you're like,
the text exchange with Bruce Arians actually reaffirms Arians' perspective of the whole thing. Like, it does not say nothing like what Antonio Brown is alleging.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just going to say it point blank. Antonio Brown's a piece of crap, and he is lying that the issue was his ankle. I watched the game film. You could see it. He had no issues with his ankle. And, it's just not the way the NFL works. The NFL works, if you have a problem, they take you out of the game immediately. They do not put hurt players in anymore. That's just not a thing. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't go through the coaches.
Right. The coach has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Right. It's the trainers. I was listening to a great podcast. If you get a chance, check it out. The last Bruce Arians podcast on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got the Bruce Arians Show. Is that what it's called? Can't remember. But anyhow, normally the first half of it is Bruce Arians and Casey Phillips talking. And then the second half is Casey Phillips and somebody else. She's interviewing them. And this time it was the head of sports medicine at One Buc Place. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the guy's name, and it's a travesty. I never even really knew he existed. But, the Buccaneers have one of the best medical communities working for the team. I mean, they always have. But the past few years, they've really ramped it up. And this guy is an Olympic medal winner. He worked with Olympic winning teams in the 2016, whatever Olympics, and won a gold medal through it. So he's got a gold medal and a Super Bowl ring. We actually have two people on the Bucs staff that are gold medal and Olympic gold medal and Super Bowl winners. How cool is that?
That's cool.
So anyhow, this guy's talking, and I was just amazed. I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool stuff. A very, very smart guy. Well, very practical, too. He talked about information of analysis paralysis, where you get too much information and you can't make a decision because it's just too much information. And he talks about how they get all this information from these guys now. You've got the monitors in the pads. They're taking the EEGs and EKGs and MRIs and all this stuff on them constantly, and they're monitoring everything they do and they eat and all this good stuff. But he talked about how different players, position groups, are trained and rehabbed differently depending on their position group. Like the defensive line guys, those guys are forceful impact guys. They're forward pushing. They move forward. They're pushing a lot of energy forward, whereas the offensive line guys are absorbing. They're guys that absorb energy. That's their job. So that's how they rehab these guys and train them. It's like the cornerbacks and the wide receivers. There are a lot of running. Not as much impact, and it was really fascinating. My point being that the Buccaneers have very, very, very smart guys working the medical stuff over there. There's no way AB is going to be hurt and be pushed into going into the game. There's no possible way. It's just not going to happen. We didn't need him, for one. Two, there's just way too many guys on that sideline that are going to be looking and going, hey, no, he's hurt. He doesn't need to go in. We're keeping him out. I mean, that's the thing about our team. We've got guys. Remember when Shaq Barrett was hurt? He was on the sideline running. He wanted to go back in. They had to hold him out. And they had to physically restrain him.
Godwin, too.
And Godwin and who did I say?
You said Barrett.
Yeah, Barrett was that way. Fournette, remember, he was running onto the field. They had to call him back on, back off the field. They said, no, you're not playing. No, this team is very serious about injuries. They're not going to let you go out there and play if you can't play.
And we're supposed to believe, after all the injuries that we've suffered this season to very important pieces,
right,
that AB's injury was the one injury coach would not tolerate.
Right.
We're supposed to believe that.
Right. Ridiculous. He couldn't have picked, Antonio Brown could not have picked a worse team to accuse this of than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, it's clear from that podcast interview he did yesterday, it's the Full Send podcast, that it's about the money and about the targets. Let me read you 2 quotes I have here that exemplifies that perfectly. He's talking about Tom Brady and how Antonio Brown was unhappy with the contract he got compared to Gronk. He said, Gronk's his boy, right? How much did he get paid? So why is AB on a prove it deal? Who's better than me over there? Let's be real. Antonio.
Did he talk about himself in third person there?
He did. Indeed.
I've always, anytime people do that, you got to go, there's something not right up there.
He said, why is AB on a prove it deal? This right here, moron, is why you're on a prove it deal, because you need to prove that you're not insane, and you did it for about 1.5 years. So congratulations, but I'm very surprised that it lasted that long. I am too.
But one of the reasons why is because they kept him away from the media.
Yeah.
He never went on the podium. He never, he's just.
I know. And at this point, he's done more media appearances this week than I think he did the whole time he was with the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
So then he also says, and this is a quote, I'm still the best, though. You're looking at the tape right here. So I'm asking you guys, why am I not getting the ball targeted like a number 1 receiver? This one's telling to me. This one's very telling to me. You're not getting targeted as a number 1 receiver because you're not our 1 receiver.
That's true.
We had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin before you got here, and you're behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the deal. He knew that coming into it.
Right.
I don't know what you want us to say.
Now, he's just upset because they didn't back him during the suspension. That's all it is. The money, he's always used money as a leverage for his crazy antics. But his crazy antics are not about money. This stuff, it's not about the money. He was going to get paid. The Bucs were not keeping his money from him. The Bucs are not going to not let him get his incentives. They were going to actually do everything they could to make him get his incentives. This is not about the money, man. This is not about the money. He's pissed because they didn't act the way he wanted them to act.
Yeah, well, right there. It's why is he not getting targeted like a number 1 receiver?
Right.
It's right there. He wasn't getting treated the way he thought he should be treated. He wanted to be worshipped, basically. And
yeah, well, my whole philosophy with this team is, I am a fan of the team. That includes everybody from the ownership down to the cheerleaders. Double up on the cheerleaders, yeah. And if you're on this team, I'm going to support you. I'm not going to be calling for you to be fired. I'm not going to be saying, you're a horrible person, whatever. I will criticize your play or your performance when necessary. Antonio Brown is not a Buccaneer anymore, so he can go himself. I can't stand that dude. Never been a big fan of him. grew up watching football. I was a player fan. Yeah, like Lynn Swann, Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, those guys, those who I fought. I became a Buccaneers fan because of Hardy Nickerson. Hardy Nickerson was a linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He went to Tampa Bay. I followed him to Tampa Bay, and then I just fell in love with the team. I'd never been a team guy before. Fell in love with the team. How could you not fall in love with that team? Hardy Nickerson, Warren Sapp, Mike Allstott, John Lynch, Rondé Barber. Good, good. It's just the dream team. So anyhow, been a fan ever since. I'm not going to follow Antonio Brown. He's not a hero. He's not a role model. He's a jerk. The guy has got some serious problems going on. And there's a big possibility that when all this stuff happened, he decided that he was going to blow this team up, or at least attempt. I don't think he can. I mean, I think this team is much stronger than that. But, he said to that OnlyFans girl, he said, watch what I do tomorrow, right? Then he, did his little antics. He's getting all this attention in media, and then he drops this album. He had it waiting. That wasn't like he just went and made those songs after all this happened. No, it was sitting there waiting. So there's a large possibility that he decided weeks ago that he was going to do this or do something like this, and this is just publicity for his new life.
And then he started doing all these cameos where people pay you, and I don't know how much his cameos were. I want to say like $300, but people pay you to say what they ask you to say. And so he started making those, and probably made a big chunk of change because everyone was wanting to hear what his crazy ass had to say.
Yeah, so this could be just a publicity stunt for him.
He also had another thing. I couldn't figure out if it was his company or if it's just a sponsorship. And I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to give it any publicity, but he was tweeting about a clothing company as well. So I don't know if that was his. He figured, oh, well, there goes my bread and butter. So I better come up with a different alternative.
Yeah, so screw Antonio Brown. I don't have nothing kind to say about the guy. He helped us win a Super Bowl. There it is. That's it. That's as kind as I'm going to say to him. I hope I never see him out in public. I will poke that mentally crazy dude, try and make him snap.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I think you can do it too.
I think I could.
In fact, I know you can. And it's sad too that he went after Gronk. I think it's Gronk.
Yeah,
like,
it's
how
Gronk.
can you not love Gronk? And they asked Gronk about it on the sideline after the game, and he was very professional. I don't know if I'm reading into it like retroactively, but it looked like something was going on with him, with Gronk, where he was trying to be stoic about the whole thing.
Yeah, when I saw the interview with Gronk after the game, I had no idea that Antonio Brown had gotten mad in the locker room.
At him.
You're just like, what an idiot. And then to drag Tom Brady into it. Now, Tom Brady's the only reason why Antonio Brown is here.
Yeah.
And
100%.
Tom Brady let him stay at his house.
Oh, wait. He had something to say about that. He said, here's a quote, "Stay at his house. I got my own money, but you don't pay people. Like, what do you do with it? I don't need to stay at no one's house. I got my own house. Guys do that to influence you guys in the public." Well, I mean, no one said you had to stay there.
Right. We weren't saying you had to stay there because you were destitute.
Right.
It's just the fact that Tom Brady was kind enough to let you stay at his house.
I know, with his family. And yeah.
I wouldn't let that crazy dude anywhere near my family. Oh, man. So, it's a sad thing. I hate it. I hate it for the team. But, we're better than this. We're better than that. And we've got guys that I think are going to step up and do something. Cyril Grayson, I'm kind of excited about that guy, man. He's out there doing some stuff, and he got his 2 game-winning touchdowns, right? Perriman, Of course, Perriman, I've said since we got him back in 2019, he's elite. I don't understand why he's not getting more balls than he gets. I don't know. Maybe he will now.
He's still working into it, maybe. The last thing I'll say about the Antonio Brown thing is I saw someone on Twitter tweet a picture of Antonio Brown in a Saints jersey beside Michael Thomas, and all I can say is, please God, let that happen.
Oh my gosh.
Please, Lord.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
So
let him go over there and blow up the Saints.
Yeah. I mean, I think Sean Payton, despite Saints fans being that dumb, I don't think Sean Payton's that dumb. But we never know. Please, God, let it happen. Please.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think Bill Belichick was dumb until he signed Cam Newton. Sometimes these guys will fool you.
Yeah.
A lot of times silence appears as wisdom when in reality it's just
there's nothing going
people
on.
realize that if they open their mouth, they're going to appear stupid. Yeah. If they would have waited to cut Antonio Brown until Monday, then no team could have picked him up. I don't understand why they cut him when they did.
I think just to be done with it. Just stop dragging it out.
Yeah, I guess.
And to me, it's like AB is kind of in a catch-22. Not that it's ever bothered him before, I think, but his claims that, the team tried to make him play injured. I need surgery. This injury is so bad. He can't go sign with another team.
Yeah,
because if he does that, then it's all out the window, and it's
like you said,
obvious that he's full of shit. Not that he cares.
Right. That's the thing. I don't think he cares whatsoever.
I don't think he cares. But if it comes down to like a grievance against the team or whatever, and Ian Rappaport addressed that on the Pat McAfee show and said that there's really not much he could even get out of a grievance, so it probably wouldn't be worth it.
Right. My big issue is that somebody will pick him up, Green Bay or whoever in the playoffs just to get information about, our play calling or something that might hurt us. That's the only concern I have.
I mean,
but to be honest with you, I don't think, just seeing how this dude operates, he's not smart. He's a really dumb person. Like I said, he posted his bank routing number for the whole world to see. I mean, who doesn't know it? Our daughter's 6?
Yeah.
She would know better than to do that.
I think so.
And, I think that, a team picking him up, trying to get information, it would probably hurt him because he'd give them some stupid crap that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
I don't even think he knows how football operates. He doesn't know anything but run, catch ball. But according to Tom Brady, remember he said that Antonio Brown was one of the smartest football players he knew?
Yeah.
That doesn't jive.
Charitable on Tom's part, I think. And it's just sad that you get somebody like Tom who goes out of his way to make sure that Antonio has these opportunities, and then, this dude just shits on him.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's why you steer clear of people like that. Like that was my point when we signed him. Like he may be fine now, but he eventually screws over anyone that's anywhere near him. And can I just say props to BA for getting up in his face and telling him what needed to be said on that sideline?
Yes. Props,
I'm glad that we have a coach like that who's not putting up with that crap and just told him what it was. And I love that BA. Okay, so the Bucs tried to ignore it. And again, if Antonio could have shut his stupid mouth, the whole thing would have gone away by Monday or Tuesday. But he couldn't help himself. And so BA was forced to get up there on Thursday. He doesn't hold press conferences on Thursday. And he got up there, explained what happened, and then was like, okay, we're done. And I'm glad that he put his side out there. And I mean, pretty much all the evidence corroborates what he says.
Yes, and I will take the side of the Buccaneers all day long.
Agree. I know.
I don't care if Antonio Brown's got video footage of AB out there, or BA, Bruce Arians out there hitting him in the ankle with a hockey stick.
I know. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with him. He can drive a car off a cliff for all I care. Try to hurt my team going into the playoffs. You know, and that just goes to show the guy's just completely bad character. He's not only dumb, but he makes bad decisions, and he's of bad character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't play with guys for a year and a half, win a Super Bowl with them, have them go through all this effort to get you on the team. You do the whole vaccination card stuff, and they still bring you back, and then you go and act like this and try to throw them all under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a bad person.
Yeah.
Of bad character.
I agree. And, you know, the sooner you can get those people out of your life, the better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know, people say, oh, you know, we went 7-0 with him on the team, and we're 4-5 without him and all this good stuff. It's kind of like the penalty argument. You know, you got to look a little deeper in that. You know, what teams did we play? Who, you know, how much did he actually contribute when he was out there?
Mm-hmm.
All that good stuff. I'm telling you, we're going to be fine without him. You know, our biggest thing was Godwin. And Godwin was much more of a linchpin than Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown has always, ever since he's been here, he's been the third guy.
Mm-hmm. He didn't like that.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So we'll be fine. We shall be fine. All right,
Good riddance.
Let's move on from this mess.
Okay.
We'll talk more about it when more stuff comes out.
Okay.
TMZ channel here.
All right.
It's everywhere. You can't escape it though.
I know. Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's fun.
It is funny, and I'm like moderately amused as a Bucs fan. I'm a little concerned with what it means going forward, but I mean, we can't worry about that right now.
Nope, got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
We have the Carolina Panthers coming up. we need to bust our butts, play that tough team. But before we get into that, so speaking of us not needing Antonio Brown, we got the Panthers coming up. Well, but we'll talk about that here in a moment. Not a whole lot though, because there's really nothing to talk about. But did get the Jets All-22 done, and it was very, very entertaining. It's been one of the best game films I've watched all year. Up there in the top 3, anyhow. The Jets are a lot better. They definitely brought their A game. No doubt about that. They, you know, from the games I've watched of them this year, this was the best game they had played. But, you know, watching them on the All-22, they're not a bad team. You know, they're actually pretty good. They didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. The most of the mistakes were made by coaches.
What?
Yeah.
That's so unusual for a young team like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they played really good football, I thought. They had some trick plays they got us with, which that too is unusual. We're a very smart defense. We don't fall for the trick plays that much. But I think we didn't really see it coming from the Jets. It just, bam. But we didn't play that great. You know, we brought our C plus game. Our offensive line, they had trouble. Had maybe the worst game of his career. Definitely in the top 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was getting whooped quite a bit. As a matter of fact, yeah, I put out a video on YouTube breaking some of the stuff down, but he got tossed. You know, I'm not sure if I've ever seen that before. It's definitely a rarity though, but he got tossed. One time, I mean, he got like literally picked up off his feet and thrown.
Oh my God.
And then another time, he just got, kind of pushed out of the way. Kind of like hip checked almost. But he struggled all day long. Offensive line in general struggled. Donovan Smith played pretty good. But just about everybody else, they were struggling.
Is this a pattern here late in the season?
Yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie to you. We have not put up some good game film here in the past few weeks. The week before when we played the Panthers, I said, we didn't beat them as much as they just beat themselves. They had no interest whatsoever in being out there. Those guys just wanted to get off the field. They weren't even trying. So I think the score was 32-6 or something like that. So, it just seemed like we whooped their butt, but it wasn't that so much as it was just we were going up against a team that didn't care. So, the Jets game, not real happy with our performance at all. I mean, there wasn't any group, except for the safeties. Safeties did well. But there wasn't any other group that, I was like, wow, that was really good. The Jets had a few players that stood out to me, 91, 94, 47. I'd have to look up their numbers. Sheldon Rankins, he was pretty good.
He's from the Saints.
Yes, I know. Thank God he's with the Jets now. Let me see. 94, 97. Franklin Myers, John Franklin Myers, he's good. Falarusa Fatukasi, he was good. What did I say, 47? Don't see a 47 on there. Might have been 45. Nasser Ladine. I don't know, but there's they popped out, and, I don't necessarily look at the other team the way I look at our team, but, when a player pops out to me, it's kind of, I usually kind of focus on them a little bit more. And those guys were doing pretty good. The linebackers, our linebackers, Devin White and Kevin Minter, absolutely dog poop. I mean, they were bad.
Well, and we talked about Minter's tackling in the last episode, that arm, stretching out the arm and trying to grab people.
Yeah, and Devin White did that quite a few times too. That big 55-yard run that Michael Carter did on us, it was just all complete missed tackles. There were I counted 4 missed tackles there, but the last one was Kevin Minter. He was being blocked, and the running back ran. He kind of got off the block, right? And the running back ran right beside him, and I paused it, and Kevin Minter is literally standing there with the running back, I don't know, a foot and a half away from him, right next to him, running by him. And he had no idea he was there. He had no idea. You can see the running back runs by him, and Kevin Minter's head kind of falls, and you see him go like, oh, crap, that's the guy with the ball. So, the guy just ran right by him. Kevin Minter had no idea he was there. It was just crap like that throughout the whole game. I was not impressed with our middle linebackers at all.
Can I just say, I just realized Kevin Minter and Devin White.
What am I saying?
Kevin and Devin. I don't know. They
Devin.
rhyme. They're the Evans. Sorry.
And this takes me to Devin White. I mean, he just hasn't been playing well in the past few weeks. And I would say pretty much all year, this has just not been that great of a year for him. Definitely the past few weeks. Anthony Nelson, he played great. He started off against their left tackle, 76. I can't remember his name. But then he got hurt. He's on injured reserve, out for the season. 70. Chuma Edoga came in, and he was just not very good. And Nelson just whooped up on him all game. And just about anybody else that went up against him whooped up on him too. But Nelson had a great game. He just did really good. But our tackling was just atrocious. I counted 15 missed tackles. 4 of them were on that one play, the 55-yarder. Safeties did great. There was one that Devin White, he's running, and this was, I think they picked up like 17 yards. It was a outside sweep or something. And he's running to try and cut the running back off. The running back's got a couple blockers in front of him. And one of the blockers engages with 33 Whitehead, right? So Devin White's running over there, and I really don't even know how this happened. He had plenty of space around him, and he could decide to cut underneath and try to get to the runner that way, or go around the outside of Whitehead and get the runner on the other side. Basically, he could have gone around Whitehead in two different ways. And instead, what he did was just full bore slammed right into Whitehead. Now
he tried to go through him.
Yeah, and knocked Whitehead down. And then Devin White got blocked by the guy that was blocking Whitehead. It was the strangest thing. You know, it wasn't like there was a crowd of people. It wasn't like Devin White was confused. I mean, he literally had probably 15 yards to see what was going on. You know, he ran from the middle of the field over to the side. And he's running, and he runs and runs and runs and just runs right into Whitehead. It's very strange, very strange. So there's just, I wouldn't say we had a bunch of mistakes like that, but we just were not playing well. You know?
Not smart football.
Yeah, not smart football. Yeah, we got caught in trick plays. A couple times we were out of position, and Kevin Minter. It was a third and I want to say it was a 3rd and 20, and they ended up getting like a 25-yard pass. Kevin Minter backed up. You know, there was zone coverage, and he was supposed to back up in the middle of the field, but somehow he backed up towards the left side of the field, and Cam Gill was backing up over there. So those two ended up side by side. Basically, Kevin Minter was covering Cam Gill. And the receiver was wide open in the middle of the field. He ended up catching the ball for the first down. It was one of those, what is that?
Were all of our smart football players injured that game?
I don't know, man.
I mean, like Shaq Barrett, JPP,
Yeah.
Levante. I mean, those three alone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I really feel like we underestimated them. You know, we went there and didn't really feel like they were going to be that much. But I feel like with this team that we have so many good players that nobody's playing good expecting the other guy to do the work. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody feels like they have to try real hard because we have so many good players on this team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just not going to work out right or good if you think that way. I just get the impression there's something. It might be the AB stuff, you know, because there's a lot of stuff apparently that was going on, you know, in the shadows that we didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, nobody knew all this crap was going on with AB until he acted like an idiot on the field. So, you know, that might have been a huge locker room disturbance, you know.
Well, and then Colin Coward, is that who we listened to? With Shannon Sharp?
Yeah.
Those two. Was mentioning that Gronk was in the doghouse, and you know Gronk had a bunch of drops in the Saints game, and then the next week he only got 2 targets.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean he's in the doghouse with Tom Brady? I mean, I don't really know. To me, it just seemed like, I don't know. Some days, some people get targets and others don't.
Right.
I don't know. But was that an issue?
Right.
And then the AB stuff and.
I definitely feel like there's some dynamics going on with this team that aren't quite obvious. Like I said, we didn't play with a lot of energy. You know, it's something that I don't care what team it is, it just pops when you watch all 22, because all 22 is boring as crap to watch. I mean, it's just, you know, you don't get the music or the talking or the crowd noise or anything. It's just really sterile, and you can really see when a team is playing with energy and when a team isn't. Now, the Jets were out there playing with energy. Mm-hmm. We were just kind of there, you know.
But that's the thing, is toxic people are energy drains.
Yeah.
And the texts with Alex Guerrero were from Christmas. So that was before the Panthers game.
Yeah.
You know, the Panthers game was the 26th. Christmas Eve is 24th. So 2 days before the Panthers game, Antonio Brown clearly having issues with Tom Brady's business partner and the business because he contracted to have services from TB12. And that was the issue. So you just wonder if there haven't been little things like this drama just kind of snowballing over the last few weeks.
From what I heard, you know, he had contracted with Guerrero to work on his ankle. and he never, the whole this happened before the vaccine card stuff. The vaccine card stuff came out. He got suspended. He couldn't do anything, but he didn't try to work with Guerrera to do anything either.
Yeah.
They just
he
decided.
wasn't rehabbing
Right.
when he was suspended. He should have taken that opportunity to get his health in order.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And I think, the vaccine card just sent Antonio Brown into a tailspin.
Yeah.
I think that's what it all is. Thank you, Rick Stroud, for causing all this crap. We do appreciate it. Glad to have you on the team, asshat.
What happens when AB sees Rick Stroud out in public?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. I don't envy you, sir.
Yeah. So anyhow, Jensen, Jensen got into with a couple guys, but he got into with 94 Fatukasi right before he got a penalty. Him and 94 were in each other's face and everything. And he was in a couple guys' face. He did some headbutting out there with guys. Well, just typical Jensen stuff. But I have no idea why he got the personal foul. I mean, the guy, 94, Fatukasi, got caught up with Jensen and Marpet, and they ended up in a big pile. And Jensen was actually laying on top of Fatukasi with his back. They were spooning, So I have no idea what in the world Jensen got the personal foul for. Same thing with Marpet. Marpet actually got slammed. The guy grabbed hold of Marpet and pushed him over. Oh, I can't remember who it was. I think Ronald Jones. That might have been 21. Vaughn. Vaughn was on the ground, and the guy pushed Marpet backwards over, and he tripped over Vaughn, and the guy slammed Marpet into the ground flat on his back. I mean, you saw Marpet's head hit the ground and bounce off the ground. Yeah, it was a pretty monstrous slam.
So he might have been a little angry about that.
Well, the ref was literally standing right there. I mean, 5 feet away, and walked over to him. So, and I didn't see, any swings or, I don't know. That's what I just hate those calls when there's no transparency. You have no idea why we lost 30 yards in penalties for. Who knows? But, yeah, the offensive line, they had a handful. It was a rough day for them. And the Jets didn't blitz near as much as they normally do. Well, we hardly blitzed at all. It was very strange. I don't know, our game plan even seemed like it was, we weren't too concerned with the Jets. As a matter of fact, and I pointed this out in the video, on our 93-yard drive at the end of the thing where we scored, we ran the same exact play back to back. That has never, ever happened
BA doesn't
since
like
BA's.
to do that.
He doesn't like. He does
doesn't
not
like repeating plays.
Exactly during a game. He will never run the same play twice
In a season, too, right?
No, do it in the season.
Okay.
But he likes to, keep it mixed up and everything. But we ran the same play back to back, same exact formation, same exact routes, same exact personnel.
Doesn't he like to do that, though, when the refs call illegal formation? He'll call the same play.
He did that one time, yeah, but that was a few plays later too. This was literally the next play. I've never seen that before out of this team. It just seemed almost like we
We're
phoned
just very
it in.
vanilla.
Yeah, very, very vanilla.
To me, I just wonder if they're not saving all of it for the playoffs.
Man,
I think.
I am hoping so.
Hope so.
And this is something that, I've been complaining about pretty much all year, but Sue and Vea have just been really non-factors. I mean, they're doing great with the runs, but you saw it with the Jets. The Jets, almost everything was to the outside. Everything. As a matter of fact, I put in the video, there was 4 instances of coaches and stuff getting laid out on the sideline in this game. Yeah. I think it was Todd Bowles. He got laid out.
Oh, no, not our coaches.
Yeah, he was one. And then Jets coach tripped over another coach as he was backing up trying to avoid player. I don't know. The coach was on the ground doing something. I don't know what he was doing. Looked like he was doing yoga or something. But with both of them, they're not playing bad, Vita and Sue. They're not playing great. That I want to see. I mean, Sue has really just been, and Vita kind of been too. It's just not the dominance that I'm used to seeing or that I want to see.
Well, teams have the benefit of a lot of game film, particularly on Vita. They know they can't hold the ball that long.
Right.
Like, they got to get it out.
Which is, what teams are doing.
And you definitely can't go anywhere up the middle with it, so they take it to the outside. I mean, to me, it just makes perfect sense. I think Vita and Sue are doing exactly what they're there for, and teams have just learned that's not an option there.
Yes, okay. But, Vita's not doing the spectacular stuff either like he used to do. I mean, he would get to the quarterback in 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. Just, there's no getting away from the guy. And he did that in this game one time, 67, their center. I mean, he just put a great move on this guy and immediately went straight for the quarterback. He was lined up in front of the center in the 0 spot, and he did the move as soon as the ball was saying. He was past the center basically by the time the ball got to the quarterback. The quarterback was still dropping back, and Vita was running at him, from like 4 or 5 feet away. It had to be a terrifying experience. But the center turned around and tackled Vita, kind of fell on him. And he actually grabbed him around the waist, but then fell and got his feet caught up, and Vita ended up falling. I was so pissed. I was like, man, that should have been a penalty right there. But, you're just not seeing a lot of that from Vita. And I'm hoping that you're right, that they're really, we've got all these veterans and these guys, and I've seen it during games where they conserve their energy until about the middle of the third quarter, and then they start really attacking, amping up. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do in the playoffs.
And you got to figure this time last year, we went on a really good run, but we needed it. We needed to make the playoffs.
We didn't need that this year.
And at this point, we clinched it 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to do all that. So
good point.
And this year, apparently, if we win one more game, it'll be the best record the Buccaneers have ever had.
Really?
The most wins in a season. If
13?
we beat the Panthers.
That's the most we've ever had is 13?
12 is the most we've ever had.
Huh. Interesting. So, not going to really, excuse me, not a whole lot to talk about in the game. But, I mean, there's some good game film. Go check out the Tiffy video if you want to see some of it. And the season's almost over, and I never did get the routine down for the Tiffy video. So
Next season.
It's all going to be different next season. I'll have to redo it.
I know. And you're going to have to wait for NFL to get their shit together in time to even get you game film.
Well, I'm not even using the NFL. I haven't used it this year. It's been such garbage. No, I've gone through another underground service.
Wow.
Had to. They're all 22 on the Game Pass is absolute shite. Horrible. All right, so anyhow, let's move on. We've been talking way too long. Let's talk about the Carolina game real quick. All I've got to say is we're going to beat them. There's really no question about that. If you got any money and you want to try and make a few bucks, the spread's probably going to be us the minus 13.5.
Yeah,
I would take it.
They're playing at for draft picks at this point.
Yes, they're an absolute garbage team, and they're not even trying. So you add the two, and you get a 32-6 result like we got last time. So
yeah, we'll see how bad it is this time.
Yeah, and we're playing at home this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We're getting Bradley Pinion back from the COVID list. And then Aaron Stinney, who was on IR, has been designated to return to practice. So that's nice. Get a little bit of depth there. Stephon Gilmore and Shy Smith for Carolina have been placed on the virus list. So they are out. That was yesterday, so I don't think that they have time to come back. So their stud defensive back is not going to be in.
who's it? Stephen Gilmore?
Stephon Gilmore, yeah.
Yeah, I told you I saw him when we played him. He was just running, covering Gronk, and just kind of like laid down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he didn't even pull up or, fall down holding his leg or anything. He just like stopped and just like laid down. And he was like laying there in a GQ position watching Gronk run down the field wide open.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was the play where Gronk got that huge play.
Scumbag. How would you like to have that asshole on your team?
That's the way their whole team was playing. Nobody cares over there. Wow. It's not, nobody's, half that team's going to be gone next year.
I'd be surprised if the coaching staff is back. I don't know.
Yeah, they'll give him
it's
another
50-50.
year.
Yeah, he might get another year. We placed kicker Jose Borregales on the COVID-19 list, which I don't, we still got Ryan Suckup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jose, he might be on our practice squad. And just a little bit of news. Then I'll cover the injury report, and then we'll do some score predictions. Chris Godwin had successful ACL and MCL surgery. They said there was no meniscus damage. So that's apparently a good thing. I don't know anything about knees, so take their word for it. And Byron Leftwich is interviewing he interviewed for the Jags head coaching job as early as Friday. So today.
Leftwich did?
Yeah.
I thought he said that was disrespectful.
So much for all that talk. Maybe he figured maybe Jacksonville won't have as much drama as we do in Tampa Bay. Okay, injury report for Carolina. We've got 5 players out. Shaq Barrett on the COVID list. Rojo, he's out with his ankle injury. JPP is out. Cornerback Rashard Robinson is out, which I think we just brought him up from the practice squad a couple weeks ago. And then Justin Watson, who we did just activate from the PUP list, he is out with a quad injury. Richard Sherman with that Achilles is doubtful. Ryan Jensen has a shoulder injury. He did not participate Wednesday, which was a walkthrough. Was limited Thursday and Friday. Oh, Thursday was a walkthrough too. Wow. We are just not even worried about this game at all. Oof. Woof. Jalen Darden has been sick. He was limited Wednesday, full participant Thursday and Friday. Mike Edwards has an elbow injury. He was a full participant. Mike Evans has a hamstring injury. He was limited Wednesday, full participant Thursday and Friday. SMB, he's been sick as well. He was a full participant all week. Bradley Pinion with that hip injury. He's been a full participant. Grant Stewart, your boy, had an elbow injury. He was a full participant all week. Sue got a Veterans Day today on Friday, which nobody else took one this week. Interesting. And then Keyshawn Vaughn has a rib injury. He's been a full participant all week. I guess we're probably going to have to go with him. Keyshawn Vaughn and...
Giovanni Bernard's back, right?
He's practicing, but is he back?
I think so.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so, Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, getting him some snaps.
He got some snaps last week. He looked pretty decent.
He did.
Yeah.
I like it. On Carolina, safety Sean Chandler has a groin injury. He didn't participate all week and is doubtful. Wide receiver Robbie Anderson, one of their studs, one of their starters, quad injury, did not participate all week and is questionable. Defensive tackle Derek Brown has an elbow injury that he sustained in practice. He was limited Thursday and Friday and is questionable. And then cornerback CJ Henderson has a knee injury and was limited all week, but no injury designation.
Yeah, according to sports books, it's Carolina +8. I would take that all day. I know.
Wow.
I would eat my shorts if we don't win by 8.
I know.
That would totally shock me, and I'll be very scared going into the playoffs if we don't at least double-digit stomp these dudes.
I know.
But, you know, how hard are we going to be trying? You know,
we're
fighting
that
for
second seed.
We want that second seed, but it doesn't depend on us, really. I mean, we got to win our game, but we got to hope that the Rams lose.
And they play Sunday?
Yeah, 49ers.
Okay.
Yep.
So
did they move our game to 4:25? Wasn't it originally 1 o'clock?
I thought it was.
Yeah, pretty sure it's 4:25 now.
Okay, let me look. I have the schedule from early in the season. Yeah, it's 1 o'clock on January 9th. According to my records.
Okay. Now I'm going to go and look and see what NFL.com says.
Okay.
Because I could have swore I saw that it was at 4:25. Yep, 4:25.
What?
Yep. They changed our time, man. That way, so we're playing that way. The Rams, if we played at 1 o'clock and lost, then the Rams wouldn't have anything to play for.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about playoff picture quickly. Packers, they got the first seed, 13-3. They're done. They have no reason.
No incentive to do anything, to even show up.
I know. And they play Detroit, so.
Oh, I'm in the fantasy football championship in our league, by the way. And it's me and my nemesis playing each other. I don't think we've ever pplayed in the championship before, have we?
I don't know. But
I can't remember.
If you
He
win,
won
you got to
last
get
year,
like
though.
his face on your ring.
But I picked up Green Bay's third string running back. Something Michael Taylor or some crap. Patrick Taylor, I think. Never even heard of the guy before. I was like, well, they ain't going to be running their top 2 running backs at all. They probably won't even dress.
Studs, I know.
So they're going to have this rookie guy out there probably running the whole game. I was like, I'm going to take a chance with that. See put him in my flex. See what happens. I got to do something because the guy I'm playing has got Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor,
Matt Stafford.
Matthew Stafford, Mike Williams. I mean, he's just a stacked team. I've got Mike Evans. It's like the only one I think is going to get me more than 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow. So yeah, the game is at 4:25.
That's crazy.
Our
I
game
can't
is.
believe they did that to us.
And they didn't even say anything. Just did it. Didn't send us an email, text.
When did that happen? Okay.
So it's like every game this week means something. The only one that doesn't is the Green Bay game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
I don't know how the NFL did this, but it's really probably the most important week 18 last week games schedule ever. That every single game has implications.
It really gives a lot of ammo to those people that think it's all scripted, doesn't it?
Yes, sure does.
Like, I could see. So I get sucked into those conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm. Wait,
Okay.
the Chicago Vikings game, it doesn't mean anything. I
Could
keep
you let me?
interrupting.
I know. Ugh. Shh. Playoffs. NFC.
Packers-Lions game.
Okay, so Rams play San Francisco. San Francisco is the only team in the NFC that is still fighting for a playoff spot. They have not clinched it. The other 2 wild card teams, for right now is Arizona and Philadelphia. So they have both clinched a playoff berth. Philadelphia can't get the division, but Arizona can still get the division. Like if the Rams lose and Arizona wins, they could get the division. But San Francisco has not clinched a playoff spot. They have to beat the Rams. And if they do not beat the Rams, then and the Saints beat Atlanta, then New Orleans is in the playoffs.
Right. And we might be playing them in the playoffs again. Wouldn't that be so funny? I think I talked about this. If we did the same thing we did last year, we played the Saints, beat them, go to Green Bay, beat them, then meet the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Can't play the Redskins, though.
Well, they're not even making it. They're out.
I know. So.
Ha ha.
Hey.
In your face. I think people said last week that it's all but certain that we would play the Eagles. But right now it has us playing the 49ers. I don't know. I guess
I'd probably rather play the Eagles.
Me too. Yeah, but I think that's who we're going to end up playing. And so that's the only team spot up for grabs in the NFC, but the AFC, there's still two teams. The Colts and the Chargers are, for right now, in the 2 wild card spots, but that could change. The Vegas and Pittsburgh are both not technically eliminated. Pittsburgh is down a game from the other 3, so they would need to get a win this week and everyone else to lose, I think, to have a chance. But so it's the Colts, Chargers, and Vegas. Vegas is fighting to get in, and they play the Chargers.
Yeah, whoever wins that game makes it.
Gets that play.
That's probably going to be the biggest game of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. And
I think that's the only game where it's the two teams playing each other. Make it.
But then I think if the Colts lose to the Jaguars, then both, which that's not gonna happen, but both the Chargers and Vegas will get in. So
if they tie.
Yeah.
They have to tie.
Oh, they have to tie?
Yeah, because if one wins, they'll get in, and then Indianapolis will get in. So it's it's a mess. It's football, though.
I know. This is the best part
so
of
many
football
variables,
is this. And then the AFC East, Buffalo and New England are still fighting it out. That division has not been decided yet, and that they both play division opponents. So whoever wins, if one wins, the other loses, that one clinches the division.
And also, the number 1 seed in the AFC hasn't been decided yet. Tennessee, if they win, they're it. But if they lose, then it's up for grabs. Kansas City is right behind them. Who else? The Colts?
No, Kansas City and Tennessee are both 11-5. Right. Cincinnati is 10-6.
Right.
So they would have to win, and the other 2 lose.
Right.
So they need a lot of help. They would need Kansas City and Tennessee to lose. And then who's to
the
say?
Patriots and the Bills, too.
I
know.
So
there's like 5 people vying for that number 1 spot.
Yes.
Awesome. Glad we don't have all that drama in the NFC, man.
That's just saved for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have enough drama for the whole NFC.
The whole NFL.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Come on, y'all.
Screw that dude, man.
Everyone's talking about us. It's kind of interesting, though, because you do get a lot of scoop. Like, there's been a lot of information that's in fact, Pat McAfee was saying, like, on Monday that AB was mad about who was getting targeted, that was the issue. And then it came out that he's mad about Gronk getting targeted. So there's been a lot of little nuggets coming out.
A lot of good stuff, man. If you love the drama, this is your time. Time to shine.
Ralph.
All right, we about ready to wrap this up. We're at almost an hour and a half.
Okay.
Go see about our coughing daughter. She hasn't been coughing at all until we started this podcast. I mean, she's been gone days. She hasn't been coughing.
I know. I don't know if y'all have seen me cut my eyes. Like giving the mom look.
I think we've trained her to cough when we get to do the podcast.
Kids.
And she's at the point where she won't go in her room by herself because she's scared. I can't say that out loud. She'll get mad at me. So when we go to do a podcast, she's got to sit in the room next to us.
Or like right in front of me dancing. That's always fun too.
Oh, all right. Let's get off of here. All right, guys. Got a big game coming up Sunday. Not really, but we need to win. And hopefully the 49ers will beat the Rams.
Yes.
That's what we want. 49ers beat the Rams, and we get the second seed if we win. So we got to win. Rams got to lose.
And we probably need Arizona to win, right?
Don't really
Or does that matter?
Yeah. I don't care who's the number one down there.
Cool.
Once the playoffs get settled, we'll probably wish that we had rooted for somebody else somewhere along the line.
I know.
But hey, we're in. It's so weird, a few years ago, come November, we're looking at draft picks. Now here it is, December, the start of December, and we already know we're in the playoffs. How crazy is that?
Let's be clear here. We are never looking for draft picks. We are always talking about how we can still get in the playoffs, even though we're 5-7, and it's not happening.
This is true. All right, let's wrap this up. Anything else?
No.
I had a bunch of stuff to talk about, but we just went way over time.
Talking about crazy people. See, they consume your energy.
Crazy people are infectious. That's why you do not have them in your life.
Nope.
All right, you done?
Done.
All right, guys. Positive thoughts. We got this Sunday. Then we got the playoffs coming up. Here's to hoping that we are resting up for the playoffs, and that's when we're really going to bust through.
You know what? When I turn out to be right, I'm rubbing it in your face about how you had no
lost faith. Yeah, no, I haven't lost it yet.
You're like
doubting.
I don't know. Maybe
I'm glancing at it side eye. What are you doing over there, Faith? All right, guys. Till next time.
Go Bucs.